Experiencing a story can be life-changing, especially the kind that reaches into you, moves you in ways you didn't expect or maybe didn't even want. Metaphorically, of course. After all, stories are a form. Sometimes they're more than that. A world with a history so rich it feels like it was lived in long before you arrived. Not a world built for a story, but a story unfolding within a living, breathing world. One that moves with or without you, with characters that are so compelling, charming you in ways you never thought was possible. Though fictional, they feel awfully real. There was a time, and I wish I could call it an alternate timeline, but no, it was very real. A time where I hated rezero. Truly, I despised it. In my eyes, I couldn't understand how could anyone be fascinated by Subaru, a character so egotistical, so self-centered, so immature. I've always believed that with great power comes great ego. Subaru only has the ego part. At the time, I couldn't think of anyone who enjoyed rezero other than my friend. To me, it felt like he was applauding weakness, praising mediocrity. That is, before the great shift, of course. Hold up, before you start throwing bricks at me, I was young, and unfortunately at the time, I fell for isekai propaganda. My brain was wired for exactly two things: overpowered isekai protagonist and the anatomy of a woman's body. It wasn't until I revisited the series with new lens, a bit more patience, and maybe a little bit more empathy that I finally understood how precious it is. Hey, my name is Reinhard von Austria, and today we're talking about that one time Otto became best girl. ReZero has no shortage of good storytelling, especially in Arc 4, that I personally believe to be a masterpiece with very well crafted emotional scenes. But there's just this one episode that's really special to me. So I thought why not talk about it, praise it, showcase it for the simple hope that at least one person could see this video and give ReZero a shot. After the climax of the first season, Subaru still had questions yet to answer, in which he was conveniently told that whatever he desires, that which he desperately seeks, lies in the sanctuary. However, it is only later revealed that any mixed blood that enters the graveyard known as the sanctuary would be incapable of leaving. In order to free the sanctuary, someone who has the qualification must pass the trials within the tomb. At this point in the story, Subaru isn't quite the dilemma. Not for the first time, of course. But this time he lost his qualifications to take the trials. Not to mention that he's already burdened with the fact that the mansion he lives in is getting attacked. So, in an effort to acquire any form of knowledge that could possibly divert him from the dilemma he's in, he goes to Roswell. Left or right? A dilemma of choice in which a character is presented two life-altering decisions and there is no turning back. Go on a date with the hot pink-haired girl, or stay at home and watch movies with your good pal. It is only through a very dramatic reveal that shows just who Roswell is and how far he's willing to go that he isn't truly on Subaru's side. Force of ideology, a fatalistic ideal, a belief that makes him want to break Subaru, not physically, not even emotionally, but spiritually, to shatter his mindset, convincing him that idealism is just a mask for failure, that believing in people is foolish, while very praised in fairy tales, reality is much different. He wants Subaru to choose between the sanctuary and the mansion, to save only one, and that if he truly cared for Emilia, he'd do what's necessary, regardless of her own wishes. Therefore, he continues to corner him to sharpen his resolve until he is quote-unquote perfected. After all, to someone that's as deeply bound to his book of wisdom, if hope isn't written in its pages, then it was never real to begin with. A man who surrendered choice in favor of fate, an individual obsessed with control, masked as a reason. He doesn't see himself as cruel, only correct. In his mind, morals mean nothing as long as the result is achieved, viewing the human heart as a hindrance. A man who's putting his faith entirely in the book's prophecies, stripping himself completely of his identity, leaving only a hollow shell, a puppet of fate, not a person but a vessel, chasing the long-dead witch. Felt completely understandable. I'd also be insane if I was kissed by a white-haired witch. Let's get one point straight. Roswell doesn't hate Subaru, quite the contrary. He views him as a beacon of hope, and he believes in him in his own twisted way. He doesn't want to destroy Subaru, he wants to reshape him, to make him just like him. Roswell is an incredible antagonist, and the series spares no effort showcasing his character. Even something as delicate as removing his mask, shifting his tone, dynamics, and mannerisms work as such great ways of understanding him. It is only after a battle flits with Roswell that left Subaru completely in a hopeless state, unaware of what to do, being utterly helpless. Natsuki Subaru was drowning in an indescribable emptiness. At least until he shot up.
どうしたらいいか教えてあげましょうか
Running off in a delirious state, just tired and overwhelmed, muttering to himself, lost somewhere in a deep mental spiral. So it makes sense that Otto would notice him. Being immersion means noticing these little things, the tells, the cracks in someone's voice, tiny details that clearly show that something's wrong. Asking questions wouldn't be appropriate in a situation like this. Simple, leave it to me, it's plenty. Otto manages to break Subaru's walls in such a beautiful manner. What was being said was so special, so sincere. After all, what Subaru's doing is just pretending that he's fine, when in reality he is nowhere near that, using any form of help or support, insistingly relying on himself. Otto breaks the toxic self-reliant mentality, convincing him to talk to him, lean on him, regardless of how insane things he might say, may sound or appear, but say it all, and just simply ask him to believe in him. And he'll listen for the simple reason that they are friends. Don't undersell this scene, it's emotionally massive. In fact, it's the entire reason why I'm making this video. He taught Subaru to no longer carry his burdens alone. That saved him. Otto, a character that at one point was completely hated by the viewers, lacked any form of screen time in their season, yet continuously improved, going from just a measly comic gag relief character into a very complex, charming character, and being one of the few people that Subaru would consider a friend, close ally, influencing the story and main cast in a fascinating manner, labeling him as a complete fan favorite, giving Subaru the right amount of confidence to strike a straight bet, a final bet of ideologies, a last showdown, all or nothing. Subaru puts both their wishes on the line. He succeeds in saving both the sanctuary and the mansion. In this loop, Roswell must abandon his book and stand beside him. And if he fails, he agrees to follow Roswell's will in the next loop. It's an insanely great solution. Roswell wants him to pick a side, one or the other, yet Subaru chooses everything, cause realistically, why not? It's not like Roswell will refuse this bet either. It's perfect for him. The main character is offering himself on a silver platter, and Roswell's confidence that he'll lose, that he'll crack, that he'll fail miserably, knowing that Subaru is not. It's a high-risk, high-reward scenario. Two men granted fate-defining abilities. Two men of exquisite taste in women. So similar in essence, but with completely different ideologies. While Roswell claims they're the same, Subaru proves they're not. Because this time, Subaru isn't trying to do everything alone. He has faith in people around him, in Emilia's ability to complete the trials. And Otto, being Otto, that belief allows him to do things that Roswell had deemed impossible. It is only through precious moments like these that a series becomes something more. I truly love this show. I can't help but adore it. A story that made me fall head over heels for characters I once overlooked. A narrative that took its time, slowly, patiently, letting its emotions sneak up on me in a way that I never thought was possible. And I think it's moments like these that make rezero so special.